Good
Morning.
morning.
Morning,
How
Lori.
are
How are you?
you?
I'm
We,
great. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. I missed you last week, so I'm
I
glad we have
know.
a minute or so. I needed a little day off after I don't know what, the election, 4 years of craziness, COVID,
It's all
Christmas.
absolutely. I'm so sorry. I'm still sharing out still sharing out the show to everybody on Facebook. Yes, sometimes you need those weeks off though,
Yeah, I
right?
definitely did. I definitely did. And I've been fighting what I'm telling myself is COVID, but isn't COVID because I've gotten tested. So I'm gonna just be simpatico with all the people that get sick and immediately start to go through it could be COVID. It could be COVID if you have a sniffly nose.
Yeah.
Anyway.
It's definitely a scary time every time allergies if I wake up and I have a dry throat for I spend the next, 6 hours panicking
I know.
until it naturally goes away and I'm like, "Oh, I should calm
I'm really
down. I
not
should
that
I should
sick.
calm down. I haven't left the house. I should probably calm down." Um, but
And we talk
anyway,
about this all the time. I mean, how many interviews do you do with like coaches and people that are like, no, everything's going to be fine. It's all going to be fine.
yeah. And
But
I
I
don't
am ready to jump right in.
know. Who do we have today, Lori?
So today we have Ted Stricklin, and he is the owner of Experience Rhode Island. And he's going to talk to us a little bit about what happened during the pandemic and how things have shifted and how you can get on board and start to work with Experience Rhode Island or take a look at the work that they're doing these days. So let's just jump right in and bring Ted on and let him do a little intro and background. Good morning, Ted. How are you?
Good morning. Good morning. Doing very well. Thank you.
Now, you mentioned initially that you had a morning routine, and I'd love to hear that because I've been very curious about making shifts. I mean, it's January, right? I have one more week to figure out what I should be doing for a resolution, and I'm just curious.
Yeah, that's a great question. One of the things I do, I try to follow a diet routine. So the first things I'll do in the morning is have something to eat and try to eat about every 2.5 hours throughout the day. And then I also like to start every single morning by reading the Bible. The scripture says that whatever things are true and honest and just and pure and lovely, think about these things. So I start every morning that way just to kind of really be thinking about things that are true. And then I will start off into the business, answering emails. And then I have a routine throughout the day. At the end of the afternoon, I'm going to do a certain thing. I'm going to do something after dinner and try to follow that routine, go to bed at a certain time, try to get up every time the same every morning. So
That's amazing. That seems. Do you find that hard? And I'm asking because honestly, I feel like so I'm a coach. I coach businesses mainly, but my training is life coaching, and
yeah,
I still feel like being that disciplined, I guess is the word, is really hard. Even
it is
though
hard.
I have
It is hard.
I
It's
have
hard
nowhere else to be.
because your body feels things. And again, I think that what you want to do, and again, the scripture talks about this, is bringing your body under control rather than it mastering you, you mastering it. And this is something that I think certainly takes a little bit of time to get used to. And sometimes it's helpful also, I think, you're saying you're a coach, to have someone in your life that's kind of coaching you and encouraging you along the line.
Mhm.
But through perseverance, I think it comes down to, and this is where for me, reading the Bible every morning helps because it provides an inner motivation to want to do these things. It's almost like having this spiritual coach every single morning you start off with. So your mind is already saying, okay, this is what's true. I know this is how I feel, but I know this is true. So I think, like anybody else, if I had an illness, if I went to a doctor, they'd say, you need so many doses of this medication to get well.
Mhm.
I think for all of us as human beings, your body feels a certain way, but this is true. What you need is consistent doses of the truth that will help you.
Yeah, I totally believe that. And Ben, I'm sure you too. Ooh, there's a little feedback, huh?
You should be fine.
So I actually, one of the things that I do in my coaching mainly is teach people how to listen to their body and then let their brain serve their heart. And those are like two things that I focus on. But do you think that that was part of you developing this experience, Rhode Island?
I do.
Business? I feel like that seems, so I know you developed the business with your brother.
Yeah.
And I'm curious how this came along.
Yeah, great question. So I grew up in Rhode Island. Our father was the pastor of the First Baptist Church in Warwick for 30 years. So we grew up here in Rhode Island. We always, and my father being a minister, we would often have people over. And then when I got out of college and graduate school, I came back to my home church where my father had been the pastor, and I became the youth minister. So I would take trips all over. We would go all over New England and actually the country with college students. And so I've always been the adventurous type of people person. I really enjoy doing that. And then in 2009, I moved downtown to start a brand new church. I'm actually today the pastor of a church downtown. Well,
downtown Providence or Warwick?
Downtown Providence, yeah.
Okay.
Right in Providence, called Down City Church. So in doing that, when we started the church, they could not support a full-time minister. So I became a concierge downtown. I was a concierge right in the center of Providence, kind of an upscale living community. And through that job, people would come to me all the time saying, what is there to do in Rhode Island? What places do you recommend? And I listened to this and I love spending time with people. So I would help them out and give them advice. And then about 2 years into doing that, 2011, a company approached me who was installing these iPads in hotels all over downtown Providence. They called themselves the concierge channels. What they would do was, let's say if you stayed at the Marriott downtown, they had these iPads stationed in the lobby, and you could go there. And if you wanted to, go get something to eat or find out something to do, it contained that information for you. Rather than having a concierge sit there, you could go to it. Now, of course, this was obsolete within less than a year because people on their phones now could go check everything out.
Right.
But in those few months of doing that, I used to go and sit with a lot of hoteliers, and they would say to me, this is a really cool product. However, from our vantage point, dealing with the customers every day, we would much rather have someone who could actually come here and show them all these kind of things rather than letting them find it on their own or whatever. So that's when I approached my brother and said, after listening to this for several months, I think there's a real great possibility here for someone who would show people what's great about the Ocean State.
And what was your brother doing at the time? Did you pull him from something else?
Yeah, before he and I both went to work for the concierge channels. So we were both doing this for about 6 months. But I was more in the hotels. He was more out on the ground, like talking to local business owners, say, hey, do you guys want to advertise, all those kind of things. And so he had been himself a private business owner before then. He owned a home alarm company. Although, again, his orientation is more towards spending time with people like me. And just through this, and this is interesting, by the way, too, here we are living in Providence, Rhode Island. The word providence means that God is guiding your life in a wise and loving way. And sometimes you look back at your life and see, I can see the providence of God. The fact that I met those people, I worked there, it all comes together.
Yeah.
And so when I look back and say, wow, the family I grew up in, the experiences that I had, becoming a concierge downtown, having this job at the concierge channels, it all led to what we do now. So in 2013, we began Experience Rhode Island tours and transportation with the tagline, showing you what's great about the Ocean State. So this coming May will be our 8th anniversary.
Wow. Showing you what's great about the Ocean State. And this is something, Ben, go ahead.
I was just going to say it's a lot better than cooler and warmer.
Yeah. You know what's funny, guys? When that was going on a few years ago, because we have tourists come with us every day from all over the world, all over the country. And again, I think one of the things you have to learn to do is listen to your customers, listen to what they're saying.
Mhm.
And oftentimes, the most common thing I hear people say that come here, we've had people come multiple times. We've had this one judge now who's a judge in Texas that loves coming here so much. He's come here 3 years now. He brings friends. He stays at the Christopher Dodge House downtown. And he comes to us for 3 or 4 days, and we explore more parts of Rhode Island. But I've heard, and we've had several people move here as a result of coming with us on these trips. And they will often say, the most common thing I hear people say is, we're surprised by what we found here. And our thought a couple years ago, we wanted to say, we think a great slogan would be the smallest state full of big surprises. And it really is. I think when people
Yeah,
come in from outside, they're surprised by what they find here.
It's it's funny that you say Texas. I live on the water in Edgewood, in Patuxent Village area.
Love that area.
And
Yeah.
yeah, and there's a neighbor from Texas, and he said, I kept coming here, and then I bought a house. And so he goes back and forth to Texas, and he said, don't tell anybody about Rhode Island, because it's really amazing.
Yes.
I'm here.
No, absolutely. The story, the scenery, it's a very unique place, and I think Rhode Island is ideally suited. My brother and I have talked about this a lot. We really think Rhode Island ought to be the most hospitable state in America. We would love the word to get out that if there's one place in the country that when you went there, they treated you so well, it was there.
I love that.
I would love for that word to get out as
There's no
well.
reason why it can't happen. We're small, and I think there's a lot of pride in the area. I would love to see a concerted communication to the entire state. Guys, let's make this the most hospitable state in America. People, listen, that impacts people. We know this in business. The thing that makes people want to come back again and again is the way you make them feel. And
Yeah,
I think when people land at the airport, when they come in on the train, I don't care when they cross the state line, they ought to feel like, wow, I mean, these people treated me so well,
Yeah, I think that environmentally, I know how many hundreds of miles of beautiful coastline and beaches, some of the best beaches in the world. We have hundreds of acres of green space. We have all these little towns and villages that have all their unique sets of offerings. Like Ben is in Westerly, and I'm in the village, and you're in downtown. And I think that one of the things that we're trying to do here with this work is to raise the level of the people and the businesses that are growing here, and really allowing people to understand every time speaking. I mean, I think I'm speaking for both of us, but speaking about the show is we're always amazed at the creativity, the way businesses get developed, the way people are like serving their customers in such a safe way. And they're so gracious about the thing that they do.
Right. Yeah.
And yeah.
And this is, I think this is a thing. I don't care whatever you do in life. For example, we have this really fun tour we offer for private groups called Journey Through the Arts, because Providence is especially known for its art scene. And one of the things we do on that day is we take everyone, for example, to the steel yard, and you walk into these people here who are these incredible workers with steel and iron and it's amazing. I know nothing about art personally, but for example, on that tour, we also take them into the Waterfire Arts Center, where Barnaby Evans himself gives a whole talk, and he shows all these incredible pictures before Waterfire was ever there. And by the end of this day, you're spending time with all these unique people, and you're so inspired, not because necessarily I know much about art, but I love your passion for it. And it's the
Yeah.
fact that
Yeah.
you're passionate about it. That's what makes me want to buy that product, makes
Yeah.
you memorable to me, is that you really love it. I think that people get around someone that's passionate about whatever it is that
Yep.
draws you in.
So if I said to you, okay, we are pretty much Rhode Islanders are staying in Rhode Island. We kind of have to these days. But we're probably all chomping at the bit to get out and do something. So what would you like, what are your top 2 things that you could offer to families or groups in Rhode Island that they can do safely with your company?
Well, the first one I would say is a trip we have called Rhode Island in a Day. And what's great about this full day journey is it really brings out, I think, especially for Rhode Islanders. And then when you have out of town guests come in, or your friends, your family from out of state, but especially even you as a Rhode Islander, to understand why your state even exists in the first place, what prompted its beginning, what has it contributed to America, what are the unique stories of all these towns that you've driven through time and time and time again in your life, and you don't know why they're called what they're called.
Right.
You know, all those kind of things. So on that day, we start off in the capital city, in Providence, and we actually make our way over to your neighborhood there in Edgewood. We
Nice.
start off, we head over to Roger Williams Park, and we talk about why it ever began, the whole colony in the first place. We make our way right through Edgewood, go down into Patuxent Village. We take everyone right through the village there. And then we go out to Salter Grove Memorial Park, and we stand right where the Gaspee was and tell the story moving up into the Revolutionary War, and really try to dramatically bring to the present day what happened on that day.
It is so cool, right? I mean, Rhode Island has so
It's
much
amazing
history.
And then we'll take off from there, and we'll head all the way out, and we'll stand at the Fisherman's Memorial at Point Judith and talk about the greatest maritime disaster ever in Rhode Island history and the things that have happened out inside these waters, and stand there with a warm doughboy at the most beautiful scenes, one of the most beautiful places in Rhode Island. Then we take everyone out to Scarborough Beach, and they get to walk along the beach and see that beautiful scene there. Then we go out and have lunch at the Coast Guard House, which is an awesome time. Then we go from there where everyone gets to try Brickley's homemade ice cream, which 2 years ago TripAdvisor said is one of the top 10 homemade ice cream shops in America.
Wow.
Then we take them from there into Ocean Drive in Newport, and then out up into Bristol and the largest gift store in New England, and all at Warren and all these towns. So we do a whole circle around Narragansett Bay, and along the way, telling the stories of all these towns, and stopping at the most beautiful scenes, getting the best pictures, tasting the best food. It's an awesome day.
That sounds like an awesome day. Wow.
I know, Ben, I can see you going, what about Westerly?
We go there. We have a trip called Scenic Rhode Island.
We don't tell anybody about Westerly. It's too pristine.
That's fine. We are
there is not a region of Rhode Island that we don't have a trip to.
So as you say all of that, for me, who's a scaredy cat and never goes out, and my team makes fun of me about that, like, tell how you're operating. Like when you say lunch at the Coast Guard House, I'm thinking that sounds wonderful, but I may not want to do that. So tell us a little bit about how you're operating in, pandemic 2021.
Right. So according to the state, we are in phase 3. Of course, certainly so for a little while, there was kind of a stricter time. And of course, our tour season primarily runs from May through October.
Right.
So when the season ended, and this is what we anticipate going to May, at the very least, we will still be in phase 3, which means we're allowed 66% capacity on our tour buses. We have 5 of them. And they all some hold 25 passengers, some hold 28, some hold 29. So that means we can take 66% of those buses, so everyone is nice and spaced out. Everyone wears a mask on board. And then, of course, when we get out, once you get out in these open spaces, you have more, you're not all next to each other. Even on the buses, you're not. And of course, there's ventilation in there. So it's very safe. We did not have one person. Now, by the way, last year, we could not start until July, in 2020. And we had to really curtail. So usually we go Monday through Saturday. We only did it Fridays and Saturdays,
Did your capacity go down on the tours themselves?
Yeah, so instead of 29, you could have 19, That's what the capacity was. So there's plenty of space on board there, great ventilation. The buses are pristine. They're cleaned after every trip. So it's very, very comfortable.
So if someone went on your website and they said, I want to book a trip. I love Rhode Island in a day? Rhode Island in a day. And what else would they might be interested in?
I'll tell you a really fun one that we're going to bring back this year. We didn't do it last summer. Bring it back this year. Is called Taste of Rhode Island. And this is a driving food progressive lunch through the capital city. And it focuses on Rhode Island's most famous food. So the things we are. Okay, so for example, we're going to start off right downtown. These guys have this great clam shack, the Dune Brothers, right on Memorial Boulevard. And we start off with Rhode Island chowder and a clam cake there. Then they're going to go up to Federal Hill, and they're at Camille's, which is the #1 place. Trust me, I do tours all over the state of Rhode Island. The best calamari in Rhode Island is at Camille's. We go there for calamari.
Wait a minute.
Shout out to the Dune Brothers. That's actually co-owned by one of my really good friends from middle school.
Oh, so, that's awesome, Ben.
Yeah.
Yeah, so those guys are great. Those guys are great. Actually, when we start off there, we take everyone out. Before them, we actually start at Dell's. So they'll get a Dell's. So it's Dell's, it's calamari, it's New York system wieners.
Oh my God.
It's going to Tony's Colonial for the pizza strips, the best ones in the city. It's ending up with a coffee cabinet at the Wayland Square Diner up on the east side.
Oh my God.
It's just a fabulous, fun experience. And what we do on this one, by the way, which everyone really loves, when the tour ends, everyone gets a certificate. And in the diner, we have everyone stand and raise their right hand, and we swear them in as honorary members of the state of Rhode Island. So it's a lot of fun.
That's great.
This certificate. And especially fun when your friends from out of state come in, they taste the most famous foods at the best places that serve them.
That is so great. So tell us, I'm going to give you the floor, and Ben's going to put you up on the screen, and you will have an opportunity to kind of do your thing. What is your signature? Why is it important for people to give you guys a ring and say, this is, I love those Rhode Island tours. And personally, I'm really happy to learn about them.
Sure.
I live with a partner who hails from Ohio and Arizona. So it's like, he's never had a New York system hot wiener, believe it or not.
Oh my. This has to be solved. Lori, this summer, I want to see you both with us here, and Ben, you too.
I want to do it. Yeah, and I'm hungry right now. So the floor is yours, and this will be your great video snippet.
All right. The scripture says, I commend joy, for man has nothing better under the sun but to eat and drink and be joyful all the days of his life. For this will go with him to the days that God gives him under the sun. It's really important that we enjoy the life that God's given to us and where he put us in the world. And so what we want to do and what we do at Experience Rhode Island is we want to help you enjoy life by giving you exceptional touring and transportation experiences. So what we do is we offer 6 public tours every single week, starting from May to October. One of them is the tour of the capital city called Discover Providence. We do another one called Newport, Rhode Island, Spectacular City by the Sea, Rhode Island in a Day, Taste of Rhode Island. and one beautiful one in the autumn called Autumn in New England. In addition to that, we have about 30 group outings that are different from those 6 tours. They go all different regions of Rhode Island. You have a group of 15, in some cases 10, or some cases 20 or more. You're going to get your own special experience. For example, we do one that goes out just to Tiverton and Little Compton called Come Away to the Quiet Coast. We do another one that goes down to Narragansett and Charlestown and Westerly and Wakefield, all those areas. That's called Scenic Rhode Island. We do another one that goes up to Northern Rhode Island, up into the Blackstone River area called Rhode Island's River Valley. And there are many, many more that I could tell you about. And these are lots of fun to do with your neighbors, when your family comes into town. This year, we are also creating a third category of what we do. And these are going to be private premium experiences in which anywhere from 2 to 7 people. So just the people that you really know, you're close with. We are creating some brand new private premium experiences this coming year where we're going to take the best of everything and put them all together. And then outside of all 3 of those things, we offer public tours, group outings, and private premium experiences. We also have another wing of our business, which is wedding transportation. We provide transportation for weddings all over the state of Rhode Island, transportation for the guests to and from the wedding, for wedding parties. And then along with that, with lots of wedding parties, we have had several of them take our private group outings. Instead of a traditional rehearsal dinner, they can do one with us called Dinner in a Cruise or Dine Around Providence, a progressive dinner at some of the top restaurants in the city. So what we've done and put together is all these kinds of things because ultimately our goal is we want to help you enjoy life.
I love it. Aw. Sorry. Love it. Well, I can't thank you enough for jumping in to our Business Over Breakfast and talking about your business. We have all of our videos on the YouTube channel for Visual Thrive and DMB. Oh, did I do that right? Yeah. DMB Media.
Yeah.
But really, there are so many cool businesses in Rhode Island. So maybe you, as an experienced Rhode Island tour guide, will see some other really cool things to stop along the way. But I wish you a great day, and I really thank you for being here.
Thanks, Lori.
Here's to Rhode Island.
All right. Yes.
Have a great day.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ted.
Bye.
Oh, I love that.
I'm impressed.
That was a lot of stuff.
I can't believe it. I have this vision of just getting some friends together and saying, okay, we got to go do this Rhode Island thing. Yeah. I mean, what a blast that would be, right?
That is amazing. I loved all of the tour possibilities. And now I got to get Jason from Dunes Brothers on the show.
Yes.
So, something that he said real quick that made me think at the beginning was he was talking about the morning routines, and the routines in general, right? I think that this is a great opportunity. We all know that the vaccine is here, and that's great, and there's an end in sight to this, but it's not going to be for months. Right. Still. And so something that I thought about at the beginning of this was how long it takes, because a morning routine is something that I've focused on in journaling and stuff like that. And I know that to create a new habit, it takes about 21 days. And to make that habit stick for life takes about 90 days. So what I think everybody should do is take this time, right? So what's 90 days from today, April 26th? That's enough time. We're still all going to be, unless you're like 75 plus or a teacher or a frontline worker, you're probably not going to be vaccinated by then.
Right.
If you live in Rhode Island, it would be a great time. Every time you have that impulse to go buy something on Amazon, create a new habit and go to shoplocalrhodeisland.com.
Oh, Ben, that was great.
Thanks. But for real though, I think that this is a great opportunity to sort of take the rest of this quarantine time, the rest of this downtime, whatever that may be, 6 months, or however long it is, knock on wood that it's not terribly long.
Right.
And use it to retrain your brain
Yeah.
to look and shop local, because that's something that's extremely important right now because of the pandemic, obviously, because these businesses need your help. And and that is a reciprocal relationship, because those small businesses are the businesses that are the economy of Rhode Island. They're the jobs of Rhode
Right.
Island. They're everything. They are the
Well,
community. So
I believe that
absolutely,
wholeheartedly. And
absolutely
that's
you do.
actually one of the reasons why I was so adamant about finding a platform that had a map,
Mhm.
because we know Rhode Islanders like to stay in their own vicinity. And so, like, for you in Westerly to just be able to go into that map and say, oh my God, these are all the places that are listed. And
Yep.
I'll tell you, I've been on the phone for the last week, because one thing I know how to do is talk. And so but this idea of creating better delivery services for the businesses in Rhode Island, and making sure that they can find affordable delivery and not have the business owners go out delivering at the end of their business day, and increasing the e-commerce capabilities. So that's definitely coming on the Shop Local site, and we are so super excited. And I have this beautiful new sticker that's coming along, and it's Shop Local Rhode Island for businesses. It says operating in accordance with Rhode Island safety standards. And so if you're on the Shop Local site, you can let people know that you are a safe haven for shopping. And we have to do this for each other. We have to shorten the supply chain. We have to keep our dollars here. So
I love that so much. Check out Shop Local Rhode Island. You're gonna help tons and tons, thousands of businesses. So
yeah.
and what's going on at Visual Thrive? I saw this morning that Scott posted the agricultural video from Kansas,
Yes.
your client in the Midwest.
Yep.
That
In
was beautiful.
Kansas.
Wonderful job that he did
Yeah.
on that. What's up with Visual Thrive? How can people get a hold of you if they want to enhance their game, their
Yeah,
marketing game?
you can just go to our website and contact us directly. And it's so simple, or just Lori@visualthrive.com. Some of the things that we're doing, we're definitely increasing our Instagram capabilities and all this, like videos and reels and all the new things that are coming in social. We're still not on the TikTok thing yet. You're the
If you're
expert for that.
if you're doing reels, you're doing TikTok.
Okay. So
So
I don't actually implement any of this stuff, but you know what? There's a lot to be said for getting the right people in the right places, and so we are really blessed with amazing people on our team. So today Scott is out. This is kind of maybe a secret, but he's out doing a video of some homeowners that are going to be receiving free mortgage payment for the month of February, and they don't know it. So this is for a mortgage company, and so he's out for the day making people happy, and that's always a cool thing.
that's amazing. That
Yeah.
is amazing. I actually have a website to promote for once. So I'm
Yes.
gonna end, but before I say that, Lori, where can people buy your book?
Oh, look at what I got in the mail this weekend.
Hold on.
It's a real book. It has
That's
words in
amazing.
it and everything.
That's amazing.
It's amazing. And it's my name is on it. It's kind of crazy. I can't believe it. I wrote 160 plus pages. And it's all around this idea that we started with, which is learning about, we are just beings here. We are human beings, and we need to support each other and all of that good stuff. Our bodies, we get so stuck in our head. And that's really important sometimes, but we have to really learn how to incorporate all of what we are, allow that brain to serve what our heart really wants in life. I mean,
Yep.
we're going through tough times, and we can always come back to ourselves.
I love that so much, and I can't wait to read the book. And I can't wait to do an interview with you about the book. So we got to set that up soon.
Anytime.
Speaking of interviews, very quickly, this is what I've been working on recently. Both of my parents passed away in the last 4 months from my dad was also in the nursing home, had a respiratory issue. It was not COVID, but my mom did pass away from COVID on Christmas. And I'm not telling you that story to make you sad, even though I'm sure it does. It's okay. That happens. But one of the things that I'm very grateful for this year is that because of the stuff that I've done here, even though they were in the nursing home for the year, I got to share these times and ask them questions and listen to all of the stories that about how they met, about my mom's traditions with her mom that I had never asked and never known about, because I had this time that we set aside for these recording sessions to ask that stuff. And when she passed, we decided that after talking to some friends, that's a great thing, that would be a great thing to offer other families that maybe don't have a son who's a video producer, to be able to share those memories. So I'd like to introduce FamilyStoryAlbums.com, and basically you go on there. It's $99 and you get an hour, and then there's add-ons that are really cheap if you want more than that. But you get an hour with your family. If it's under 10 people, we'll do it on here. If not, we'll do it on Zoom. We download it, we record it, we throw in pictures and stuff of in the final edit, and then we give that to every member of your family that was in the meeting. You get all of that. So.
And it's not live on Facebook.
It's not live. No, it's
no,
private.
because I want to say that because I want families to recognize that it's an honor. It's an honoring of the family tradition and the family, whatever is involved there. But
it's just between you.
Private conversation.
Exactly. It's just between you and your family. And then we edit it and we put it in a nice little package for you, and then you get that to keep forever. And it's just like a photo album, except it's your parents or grandparents or aunts and uncles. It's their voice. We did this, by the way, like it's probably better for your first thought is aging parents when you think of this. But we put a microphone on and recorded the 5-year-old, my godson, and it was like, hey, right before Christmas, we put a camera on him and we were like, we're just going to ask you some questions. And, because now we have this, and we've done that every year. And just to have that like snapshot of exactly what you were like at 4 and exactly what you were like at 5. So it's really great. And
I really love that.
And the kind of conversations that you have with somebody and the openness that you have when you sit down with the intention to do it is so much different. And it's all of the stories that you never feel like you have time to ask in a normal life. So I think that
I'll tell you, my grandmother and I were super close, and we would sit for 3-4 hours at a sit. And she said to me once, she lived to 104, and she was probably in her 90s somewhere. And she said to me, if you have anything to ask me now. And I didn't really know exactly what I wanted to ask her. I felt like maybe I was too young. So I think this idea of being able to come together with others in terms of like, oh, these are some of the questions that we hear. These are some of the things. Because now that I'm in my 50s, I feel like, okay, Nana, I got like 100 questions for you. But at that time, I was much younger and I didn't know. So I think this idea of coming together with you and in this kind of setting can bring up some really unique and insightful questions that maybe people don't think about asking.
Yeah, and we give you a set of starter questions. If you want to use them, you don't have to, but yeah. So
Yeah.
anyway, that's my pitch. I never do a pitch.
No,
So
you know what? It's important, and you got to. So,
Yeah.
all right, this is your practice. You got to start pitching yourself because you are amazing. And I don't know if you saw in another thing. I just posted the article that Westerly.
I just saw in the group.
You're too damn humble.
I just saw in the group chat for the Small Business Coalition my name, and I was like, "What is going on with my name? I don't understand why my name is being said right now."
Because that came across. Somebody sent that to me. My marketing person sent it to me, and I was like, Ben, yeah, you're amazing. I thank you for this time every week.
Thank you.
And we
I appreciate
are
it.
on Business Over Breakfast until March 16th. So we got some work to do.
I love it. I'm going to end with the commercial for the Family Story albums. Thank you, Lori.
Sounds great.
And good luck. Buy the book, visit Visual Thrive, and most importantly, shop local.
Yes.
You know, you don't have to support us. Support the state. Support everybody. Yeah. We love you all. Thank you.
Thank you, Ben.
There are so many stories we've never told, questions we never thought to ask. Preserve your family memories for generations to come.